Welcome to the post-game show of The Hammer. We're joined by Alex Rotter, chairman of Christie's, both now Impressionist, modern art, and contemporary art, and an old friend of mine. And another old friend of mine who's joining us from someplace fabulous, Dominique Lévy, one of the world's foremost dealers. Dominique, what did you make of tonight's Christie's One sale from around the world?
I was fascinated and excited, first and foremost, to discover that really we have entered a new world, and that really digital sales and sales presented without having to be in person in the room could work, and could work like this. I was fascinated to follow a whirlwind adventures from Hong Kong, Paris, London, and New York. Not sure if I like the format of 4 sales at the same time. And on the market side, I think I came out with a very strong feeling that the sales were as good now with and everything we've lived through as they were in November. And if there was a market correction, it was in November. But what happened today confirmed that the market stayed steady since November, despite COVID and despite everything we've gone through. And this, to me, was an incredible realization all through the week, by the way, starting with Sotheby's, Phillips, and of course, concluding with today's sale.
Alex, $421 million sales, 94% sell-through. I mean, that must have been a sight you would have had a hard time imagining 3 months ago.
No, absolutely. And as you know, and as Dominique knows, you know, these last 3 months, 4 months were very difficult for us in the art business. All of us took it very serious, and all of us tried to make progress by innovation, and to come out like we came out. And when I say we, I speak about all the auction houses, because I agree with Dominique. I think Sotheby's did an amazing job when they had their sale. I have to say that credit and really paved the way. We added one on top with a little bit more depth on the high end, which was one of the strategies that we followed.
All the high-end lots found buyers.
All the high-end lots found buyers. So if you think about between Picasso,
we have to be a bit careful on that, because I think, and we saw that already in November, and for our viewers, I think we have to be very transparent that a lot of the high-end lots sold very thin, if not on one bid, with maybe the exception, of course, of the Liechtenstein, sold quite thin on one bid to guarantors. So to me, I think the most interesting was not the 2 or 3 high lot. It was more when there was freshness, quality, and a very attractive estimate, like your Dubuffet in Paris, for example, or like, of course, the Liechtenstein tonight, which we happen to be the advisor for the consignor. So it was very interesting to watch and to see it being such a success. But with these lots, depth of bidding, international, really exciting. And for other lots, which are artists that I consider more maybe American focused, whether it was the Ed Ruscha, whether it was the Thibaut, I thought these were more disappointing is not the word, but this was a very thin bidding. So top lots, there were 2 types of top lots, I think.
So I hear what you mean, and when you compare it with the estimates, you have a point. I can say that only one of the top lots went to the guarantor on the first bid. The other ones, you know, for instance, the Barnett Newman, which was not guaranteed. But we had 3 bidders on the Barnett Newman. They were below the low estimate. But I think that's also a good indication for us. If you think about this, the last time it was up 7 years ago, it made $22-something million, and now it made $30 million. So I think that should, and there was a very healthy market back then when it sold. You remember?
Of course.
And I think
we saw the same, by the way. The Femme d'Alger, I think it was on the market at the same year as the Barnett Newman, sold for 22, and today, what was it, 25.5 Hammer. So yes, you do see indeed
30, yeah,
a healthy market. Yes.
A healthy market. And when we had to be, you know, on the Thibaut, we had a world record estimate. Our estimate was twice the price of a world record. So we had 2 unique bidders on it. any also 2 or 3 bidders. So we did, but I agree with you. And some of these, like the Picasso is a good example that had great bidding. The Liechtenstein had great bidding. And for the other things, I think we need to also see them in, like, again, because the prices were high, the estimates were high. So you have to see it as a price. So $20 million for Thibaut, $23 million for Rocher. These are not everyday prices. But I get your point. But I do think that from the quality of the people that were participating in the sale, it was really all I hoped for, because it showed that on the higher end of the market, and we have the day sale going on now, or the special lots that you said, like the Dubuffet in Paris was amazing, but also the Magritte that we had that went very high. So you can make it throughout the sale, but you know, we had sales before, and you know this, Dominique, we had sales before where I was worried about the activity on lots. And obviously you never got it 100% right, and you can't sell 80 lots to multiple bidders, that there's activity on all. But overall, it felt there was more than just bidding. So from a statistical point, we had a lot of guarantees and a lot of third parties, which I think is interesting, because I think it has to do with confidence also of the bidders, and you know, going into this and making those bets and coming out of those bets is a good sign for all of us.
Will you keep a little bit more of those guarantees in-house? I can imagine starting in April, you were like, we better play a little defense. You think come the fall, you might be a little bit more on offense, and you as a consignor and a guarantor, perhaps, Dominique, time for offense now after this reassuring moment?
No, I think that what happened tonight is actually telling us, I think, 3 interesting factors. Number one, there is an appetite for art, and there's a big confidence in quality. Whether you consider it pleasure or asset class, there is a confidence for good art, good quality. There is a savvy market that is price sensitive, unless they listen to complete passion, but there is a price sensitive, and I think you feel it. And third, what I found the most interesting is the confidence of a lot of people who might not have been able to see the work, whether in Asia, whether in Europe, whether even in America. There is a confidence and a trust in today's digital world, in today's beautiful packaging that was presented by Sotheby's, Christie's, and all the auction houses, which was these beautiful videos, essay, excerpt. You really had great knowledge, and you could dive into a work through these new medium and get confidence. Now, would that mean that I don't know about Alex, I'd love to hear, would go on the offense for the fall? I think we live in a world of such uncertainty that, yes, do we feel a bit more appetite for risk tonight? For sure. But to go to the offense, I think actually the fall will be a place to really be mindful what you put for sale, what you guarantee, what are the estimate. We've learned a lot, I think, from this last 10 days and from the Basel Art Fair and the private market. And I think November, we can build on all the lessons we've learned in a much more informed way than we were for this time around.
Alex, going forward?
Completely agree with what Dominique said. It gave us the confidence, but it also, as she rightfully pointed out, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. It's one indicator that there is a market right now, and that there is a strong but choice market. I think the decision that we made in collapsing also the timelines, and just shows the quality that you can sell, obviously Femme d'Alger, the same sale as a Barnett Newman, is a very good sign to the market. But I agree, I don't want to go on offense yet. I want to, we'll be watching, we will be placing our bets carefully, and we will be placing our bets. But it's not that I'm saying after, selling $420 million that we're gonna write blank checks to future consignments. We will try, and we will fight for it, but we will make educated decisions, because also, the sale through rate gives me a lot of confidence throughout all the sales season again. that there was, because it was all compacted. And I think that's what we need to be careful, that what we're presenting needs to be, it can't be too much, it can't be too little, and it needs to be the right quality. The one thing that makes me very happy, it's just a stat that came in, I want to just throw it in, that I just got from the press office. 80,000 viewers on Christie's Live. I mean, if you think about, you know, us art dealers in one way or the other, private or public or auction houses, we all have the same thing, and we want to bring arts to the people. So 80,000 people watching us, if for the show or for the art, makes me actually very confident that we have a good future.
Alex, what was usually the number of people watching a sale pre-COVID, pre-digital sales?
Much less. I mean, I don't have the numbers, but much less. Like by far, it's not even double, it's not even triple, it's more than that. Much less people watch. So it's really an enormous increase. And I haven't watched, you know, the craziest thing is I haven't seen the sale. We've done many test runs. I haven't seen the sale, but I'm gonna watch it because I want to see how people experienced it. And if it was, it was a long sale. We tried to keep it as tight as possible, but it's not easy. Online, everything takes longer and there's a slight delay. So what we can do in a room much faster is now longer. So that needs to be also considered for the future.
Maybe each of you one final thought, either on a specific artist, or if there's a generalization, you could say about women artists or Black artists or mix of markets. So Dominique, one final thought.
I'm questioning how it will work for Impressionism to be in this one category. I think modern art did well. I think the Van Rysselberg, because it was extraordinary, did well. But I wonder if the Femme d'Alger, for example, would have not done better in an Impressionist modern sale. And I guess I'm still questioning, you know, Christie's did that in 1998 to 2000, doing this 20th century sale. I'm still questioning after tonight whether this is the best for great modern art or great impressionist. And I'm curious to see, because there seems to be a divider in between impressionist and the modern taste. And I'm just questioning that. And I wonder what Alex felt tonight, particularly on the Picasso and the Van Rysselberg.
Well, look, I think this is the question, because it obviously, for me, the Picasso answer and the Magritte answer is much clearer than it is the true Impressionist answer. If we're going, and Van Rysselberg, as you say, is like such a unique in there, because it was a really good one, and not many people beyond the followers know who he even is. But this was an exceptional painting. But look, I agree with you. For the average Impressionist painting, for the average Monet or the average Renoir, to show up next to a Thibaut or a Rouchet is not going to be a good look. So I think what it is, number one, I want to clarify, not every sale is going to be that way now. So that's not, I did not make this decision for every sale. I wanted to do it in this case, it's a response to the circumstances, and wanted to show a full spectrum. I do think that we have many collectors, you and I, you and us, have many collectors that don't collect in categories like we present them at auction anymore. You know, contemporary art is now almost 80 years old. It's getting old to call it all contemporary. And the question is, like, what is the relationship between a David Hammons and Jackson Pollock? Or is the connection between de Kooning and Picasso not closer than, you know, that and minimal art? So I wanted to open the boundaries, but I'm not saying categorically, because I don't think you can, Dominique. I want to respond to what's out there in the market. If collections come to the market that encompass the 20th century, then it's going to be 20th century focused. There will be probably sales formats that would focus more, because we call it the new department 2021. So there will be more sales also focused towards the more recent time, the last 30 years maybe. it's not, I don't want to pigeonhole this sale into like, this is the new format going forward. If it makes sense, I want to do it. If it doesn't make sense, I think you will see some traditional format where there's an impressionist evening sale and there's a contemporary evening sale also in the future. I just want the flexibility to respond to what's out there, quite honestly, and put it together. If the Picasso would have sold better in an impressionist sale, if I think about now the bidders, is like I had the same bidder on an impressionist piece, multiple pieces actually, and contemporary work. So I think from a bidder service, it is much easier if the quality is right, but it's all about the quality. If the quality is right, I think it all merges. If the quality is like, if it's B minuses or C pluses, it's gonna be hard to separate, to bring the categories together and not separate them out.
This has been great, everybody. It's just barely an hour after the sale to everybody's fresh feelings, emotional feelings, because this is something we all do for business, but for the love of art. So thank you both for joining our first post-game Hammer Auction Insights. And I look forward to seeing each of you in person as soon as we can. So,
as soon as we can. You're not wearing pants, Josh.